I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I have spent hours out of my life the past few days watching Charlie Kirk debates.
More and more Democrats are escaping wokeism. Let's find out why. Please make sure that you are subscribed.
I registered to vote when I was 18 years old. I registered as a Democrat. I've been voting Democrat for 31 years. I am now 49. I have been voting Democrat for as long as Charlie Kirk was alive. Now, first and foremost, I want to say to Mr. Kirk's family and to his children, I am so sorry. I gotta say personally, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I'm out. I'm done. I'm not ever going to be the type of person that comes on and publicly celebrates, certainly, because I think it takes an incredibly sick individual to do something like that. What the hell? But to even just sit back and not say anything, I think that that's complicit. The silence would speak volumes.
The last few weeks have been incredibly eye-opening for all Americans, so much so that a lifelong Democrat is also realizing that the Democrat Party is not what it used to be. Like Ronald Reagan said, he didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left him. It is no longer Democrats who can debate against Republicans. It is good versus evil. It is capitalism versus communism. It is MAGA versus Antifa. And of course, it is patriots versus people who want to destroy our nation. That is why the left is losing people left and right.
I have been disillusioned with the Democratic Party for a very long time. And when I actually sat down and listened, which I have been for a couple of years now, to the debates from people like Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, and others, it's been making a lot of sense. I am autistic. I can't speak for every autistic person, but I'm a highly logical person. I have feelings, I have empathy, but I decision make and my thought process operates much more on logic than it does emotions and feelings when I'm making decisions and I'm thinking about my position on things. And I have noticed the Democratic Party seems to be the party of emotion, control, fear, emotion.
And hate and anger and outrage.
And others tend to be the party of logic and thinking, free thinking, opening yourself up to different opinions. You know, in my opinion, the Democratic Party has straight up become a cult.
Yes, because they won't talk to you anymore. They will scream and yell and try to fight you the moment that they see a MAGA hat.
Cult. There are things that have been overlooked that are harmful and damaging, particularly concerning people with clear mental health issues. They don't need pronouns, they need Prozac. All right?
It is so amazing to see a lifelong Democrat calling out the left. And I never expected to say this, but us Republicans could learn a thing or two from this lifelong Democrat. And that is the fact that she is not complicit. She realizes the enemy within this domestic enemy. And we do have a country to save and to fight for. And every day we should be using our voices and standing up for what is right and calling out the left on their insanity like this woman is. Fantastic work. I also love how the last lady was saying when I actually started watching the debates, because you hear all these people saying all of these insults to Trump or to Charlie Kirk, and none of them are true. When you actually listen to what they say, you'll realize that there is so much common sense in the things that they say.
I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I have spent hours out of my life the past few days watching Charlie Kirk debates. And if that pisses you off, then you especially should stay. Because when I tell you I've been absolutely consumed, not by the debates themselves or why I didn't agree with him, but it's our party that has left me feeling unsettled. And if you're a Democrat watching this, I really hope you take this not as an attack, but like from a friend who really cares. First, let's talk about the concept of mob mentality, which by definition just means being influenced by a larger group and losing your own personal judgment in the process. And the example I want to use is that clip that was everywhere, that went viral, everybody was quoting it, where Charlie said, "I don't like the word empathy." We've probably all seen the short and the long version at this point, where he goes on to clarify that he prefers the word sympathy. Agree with him or disagree with him, doesn't matter to me. The point is, the real conversation never happened because the clip was cut in half. Why?
Typical.
To reinforce the idea that the right is full of these monsters who reject human feelings, right? That wasn't an accident. That omission was deliberate and strategic so that you would form an opinion about a person without using your own informed personal judgment. Does that bother you? If somebody's truly evil, shouldn't the truth just be enough? Shouldn't we be trusted to come to the right conclusion all on our own? Maybe you would have come to the same conclusion, but maybe you wouldn't have. And then there's the hypocrisy, okay? If you honestly asked me how many times in the past year I've seen the left dox and unemploy a person over hateful speech, I wouldn't be able to.
I mean, just a couple days ago, somebody shot people at an ICE facility and there was anti-ICE stuff written on the bullets. And I don't understand how people on the left are ignoring this or pretending that it's not political violence. And going back to what she was saying about groupthink and how they cut the clip in half and don't allow people to come to their own conclusion really hits home for me, because to me, it is an insult to America and it is an insult to our intelligence, because the left has so many things under their control, from our education, our universities, our music, our media, our movies, our social media. Everything, they control the information that we get. And so it is so important and crucial today that we take control of our environment and make sure that we are getting information from its source, or else it is so easy to believe the lies of the left. I love how fed up Democrats are with the Democrat Party.
And I get it. Actions have consequences. I'm not arguing that. But the same principles apply to us. If we sound the fascism alarm, we cannot celebrate death over speech. If we advocate for gun control, we cannot celebrate gun violence. If we call for diversifying our worldview, we can't then close off conversations that are uncomfortable, but that could possibly, maybe, lead to some kind of understanding. If we call the right a cult, we cannot cancel influencers who show empathy and sympathy to the wrong family. Think about it. One of the signs of a cult is pressuring members to cut off family members and friends who are outside of the group. Another is using guilt and shame to enforce conformity. Another, creating a me versus them mentality, demonizing them and creating dependence in us.
I just think that the left is, what is left of the left is terrorists who literally terrorize people in trying to make them conform to their ideas, or else we will hurt you. Because it's not the Democrat Party that it used to be, and they don't agree on our founding principles anymore. They don't agree with the Second or First Amendment, and they want to take those away.
It's not about Charlie Kirk. It's about us taking the time to reflect. Are we living up to our own standards and our own ideals? Are we leading with integrity, or are we just falling into a different version of the same fucking trap? Because from my viewpoint, I don't know, it feels like we're becoming a lot like the things we claim to stand against.
I absolutely love the fact that she stated that it seems like we are becoming the things that we claim we are out to destroy, because this just is so obvious. But coming from a person on the right, it just means so much more. Because if you take the word fascist, for example, leftists use it all the time. And I have asked them, what does it mean? And it always seems like they don't really know, or they just think that it means MAGA or Trump. And yet a lot of the things that they do seems to be in practice of fascism. Like, for example, here on Google, it says fascist regimes use violence to silence dissent and persecute or eliminate perceived political enemies and minority groups. I mean, the way that Democrats have been acting seems very fascist, doesn't it? Fascism is just one example of the left claiming to destroy something but actually being it. I mean, they always claim that they are anti-racist, and yet I guess their path to get rid of racism is to be incredibly racist and to segregate groups and to make sure that they only ever see race, and then to implement DEI programs which are based on discrimination. And then, of course, we have the feminist movement, which is meant to destroy the patriarchy. But what it actually does is just make women very unhappy and childless. Honestly, speaking out for Republican and American conservative values is good for yourself, and it is good for everybody around you. Just look at what happened to Taylor Swift after Donald Trump called her a childless cat lady. Just in a month or a few weeks, she was married. Here is another example of somebody who has gone to the church for the first time in 14 years, and they say that they will be going back. I think that is amazing. And I would love to also hear about your guys' day-to-day life, what you guys do over the weekend. So you should definitely join me every Friday for live Q&As on the Patreon by becoming a member. America for the win. Conservatives are going to fight till our last breath to make sure that we stay the greatest nation that has ever existed. Please make sure that you are subscribed. I'll see you next time. Bye.